members here and some people who are going to be outright just spamming us. So get ready to have me interrupt a little bit and block some of the people who will be spamming us during this one. If it does happen, hopefully it's amicable and friendly and everybody gets along. Kumbaya. So I'll get to the markets, what happened out there today, talk about some of my trades I did, but I want to get right into it because I know a lot of people are coming just specifically for this topic. And I wanted to talk about President Trump's new crypto project. And this new project, I think, Margaret, you actually brought this up a while back, and that was when it was kind of in the rumor phase. Now it's actually full on going to market. And I thought it would be worthy to talk about it because I think it speaks a lot about an individual, an entity, an organization, and an industry to look at the projects that are being built on it and what exactly they are doing. So let me show you this here. I'll play this. Hopefully you guys can hear this. This is this is on President Trump's Twitter feed, @RealDonaldTrump, and it's promoting World Liberty 5. Now, the name of the project is called World Liberty Financial, and I'll make this full screen, and hopefully you guys can hear this one. It's only 24 seconds, but just want you to see what he's promoting. Here we go.
Join me live on Twitter Spaces at 8 p.m. this September 16th for the launch of World Liberty Financial. We're embracing the future with crypto and leaving the slow and outdated big banks behind.
Okay, it's about crypto and leaving the big banks behind. So, interesting, all right? At face value, I can't say anything good nor bad about it. Obviously, I have to agree with him. I think our banks are outdated. I believe they're antiquated. I believe that they have just horrible systems in place, and I believe that they are designed to benefit the banks and the financial firms. So, right off the bat, you got me. I'm interested to see what you're going to talk about. So like any project that I would review in my crypto program or any of the classes I teach on crypto, it's about diving deeper into it. And the reality is there's this obfuscation of Liberty Financial, meaning things are kind of cloudy. You can't really see what's going on there. That already is a big strike for me. However, I can't let that deter me from being unbiased about the project. So let's dive a little bit deeper into it. And I wanted to just create some fun graphics here for it because you notice that with the projects that Trump gets involved in, there's generally something very patriotic that appeals to our core desire. You look at Truth Social, right? We want the truth. Everybody here wants the truth. You look at World Liberty Financial. Yeah, we all want liberty. And then, of course, we throw in the Statue of Liberty here, and I've got a real nice patriotic thing, get you all fired up and riled up. Yeah, let's go. Liberty, liberty, liberty. All right, well, hold on a sec. So this is one of the graphics that Midjourney developed from, which I actually really like this one. I think it's kind of a cool picture. You got the Statue of Liberty out there, skyline of New York City. But let's break it down a little bit as to who are the participants in this project. This is, to me, very important because I want to make sure that if I'm investing in something, that the people that are going to be building this, the people that are going to, I guess, bring a new era of financial markets to the world are not con men. They haven't been convicted. They're not shysters. I mean, this is important, right? Nobody wants to have Bernie Madoff. Well, he's dead now, but nobody wants to have, another Bernie Madoff type situation because so many millions of people would get screwed over on that deal. So, who's involved? Well, first off, Elon's not involved, but it'd be interesting if he tried to bring him in. I think Elon, well, we'll get to that in a second. First one's a guy named Zachary Folkman. He's the head of operations. We'll get to who he is and what he's done in the past. You have Chase Hero, who's data and strategy lead. Now, these are the titles in the white paper. Now, I have done my darndest to find this white paper. Apparently, Coinbase and all these other media outlets have a copy of it, but I have not been able to get it myself. I'm disappointed in my abilities because I wanted to read this white paper about what this project is really trying to do. But these two are the head of operations and the data and strategy lead. And then it gets really interesting. You have, of course, Donald Trump will be the chief crypto advocate. I wish I had that title. Your second one is Eric Trump, his son. He'll be the Web3 ambassadors. And then you have Donald Trump Jr., who is also the Web3 ambassador. And then his 18-year-old son, Barron Trump, is the DeFi visionary. Okay. So right away, I question if this is really going to be a very legitimate company because right away Donald Trump has 4 members of his family, including himself, that are on the books here. If I want to see something very successful in the financial world, I want to start seeing people on this board of directors who are financial people, who may have worked for big banks, who have worked in traditional finance, so we can bridge that gap between TradFi and DeFi. You know, throwing your 18-year-old son on the board is, okay, fine, that's great, but is he really a visionary, right? Is he really the person that's going to go out and say, this is how DeFi is going to change the world, and here's how we're going to build this multi-billion-dollar company going forward in DeFi? I think an 18-year-old kid with very little work experience probably is not the best candidate for that, but let's just assume that he's a savant, he's a genius, and he's the best one for the role. Okay, let's move on from there. Second step is looking a little bit about the background of the project. So Zachary Folkman is an interesting character from all the stuff that I've researched. Now, he and his other partner here, Chase Hero, they started a project called Doe Finance. Now, Doe Finance it's just a simple DeFi swap site. That's pretty much all it is a DeFi swap site. Well, Ricardo says maybe pump it up. Let's not get there yet. I don't want to start throwing shade at it. I want to look at the facts, okay? And again, it doesn't matter whether you love Trump or hate Trump. It's about looking at the project. What are they going to do? And I've looked at hundreds of different cryptocurrency projects, and for me, it's really important that I put my bias on the back burner and look at the facts. That's why I hate Pepe Coin. That's why I hate Shiba Inu. That's why I have a disdain for Dogecoin or Dog with Hat. Any of those things, I dislike them immensely because they're frauds. They're scams. I don't know if this one is. That's why I'm looking at it and going this research with you so you can kind of figure it out along the way. So this company called Doe.finance, which you cannot pull up anymore. It's now blocked and you have to use a password and username to get in. Doe Finance was a swap site, and I actually have the graphics here. For those who may not know what crypto is, it means that you can take one currency and pull out another, right? So you can swap one currency for another, one cryptocurrency for another. So let's say I want to swap, Ethereum for Cardano. Great, I can do that. Second one would be I can now use this as a lending platform. So some of these will become lending platforms like Curve or Aave, and this is actually built on top of Aave. Aave is one of the larger kind of lending DeFi swap sites out there. So it's really nothing that complex. You can earn some interest by lending out your crypto, you can borrow crypto, or you can swap it. That's really all this is designed to do at Doe Finance. Now, conveniently enough, earlier this year in July, I believe, Doe was hacked. There was $1.8 million stolen out of Doe Finance. I don't know where that money went or who did the hack, but they were hacked. Right away, that doesn't sit well with me because it tells me right away that the two people that created this, which is Zachary Folkman and Chase Hero, and maybe they had other developers, they created a flawed product that had a vulnerability that allowed someone to get in there and steal cryptocurrency. Now, for those of you who've taken classes with me, you know I hammer this all the time. I say the biggest risk to anything in DeFi, any project, I don't care what side it is the smart contract itself. So if you have poor code writers and they write bad code, there's going to be a vulnerability in there and people can exploit that. For example, one of the craziest things I saw, not craziest, that's a stretch, but one of the more interesting things I saw on YouTube was a guy who took the code of a smart contract. You could literally take the code of Doe Finance and he put that into ChatGPT and said, find the vulnerability in this code. Within a few seconds, ChatGPT said, this line is vulnerable to this type of attack and this line is vulnerable to this type of attack. If it's that simple to exploit a smart contract, then it's a hacker's dream. And if you're dealing with a company like Doe Finance or Curve or Aave, which have maybe hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of assets locked in them, it's of paramount importance that that code is written perfectly, that there are no vulnerabilities, because then money could just be taken out of that thing at easily by any experienced hacker. So not a big fan of these two guys. Now, by the way, just so you know, character-wise who these people are, it gets real interesting on who they are. So Folkman, who's Zachary Folkman, the top there, he is a pickup artist. Make no qualms about it. His art, if you will, is a pickup artist. He has a website called Date Hot Chicks or Pick Up Hot Chicks, and it's literally, he sells seminars and videos on how to pick up women and seduce women. And you think I'm making it up or being biased. I'm not. You can go to, I think it's called datehottergirls.com. Don't bother. He's pulled down his personal information from there, but you can find it on Facebook. Interesting enough. So that's kind of whatever. It doesn't make him a bad person. He's just taking advantage of a situation of men who want to improve their statistics with women, apparently. What else was interesting about Folkman? They both started. So Folkman and Hero both started a company called Subify, which is supposed to be a competitor to things like Fans Only and Patreon. Okay, Patreon's not necessarily bad, but Fans Only has gotten a bad rap for its X-rated stuff that they're doing, and that would be a censorship resistance one. So they're kind of skirting these dark areas of, I'm not going to say morality, but it just seems like some of the things they're doing, you want to question those a little bit with Zachary Folkman and Chase Hero. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, Big Eb, I don't know. I mean, look, would as a younger man, would I have liked to? I don't know if I would have wanted to say I was a pickup artist, but I certainly would have liked to have maybe more training on how to interact with women. My father wasn't the best teacher of it, from an old hippie, not quite the right way to interact, but maybe a little bit dirtbaggish when you make it a science and start capitalizing and selling money on it or making money on it. So let's go to the company itself. It's World Liberty Financial. What does it do? Nobody knows. All we know is on September 16th at 8 p.m., Donald Trump will be hosting on a talk show. Conveniently, I don't know if anybody saw this. Let me see. I'm going to make this full screen for you guys again. Did you see it's called Rug Radio? You see this in the bottom left-hand corner? Rug Radio. Now, let me just tell you. A rug pull in crypto is where somebody has a shady product.
Join me live on Twitter.
Has a shady product. They get a bunch of investors, and a rug pull is where they disappear with all the money. This is really not where I would ever want to have a podcast. I don't even think I would go on a show called The Rug, which to me would imply a rug pull. Thanks, Thomasina. I agree. I try to be myself nice and try to be funny at the same time. Doesn't always work, but I try my best. Yes, I agree. So if we don't really know what World Liberty Financial does, however, Donald Trump is positioning it as this is the piece that's going to take on the big banks and revolutionize the American financial system. I love the idea and concept, but you could also tell me that I'm going to buy a car that now flies, yet there is no proof that this car can fly, right? So my radar of BS-o-meter is starting to flash here on this project, because if it really was truly a project that was going to change the financial world, then they would already be saying, here's what we're going to be doing. Now, maybe they want to keep the cards close to their chest. I get it. That's fine. We'll find out on the 17th or 16th. I hate to say it, I'm probably going to watch it because I'm interested to see what it is. So let's go to what we do know, which is where this project is registered. Obviously, they've bought the domain names. They've created the tokens already. So we can kind of get a sense as to what it is there. Mind you, it's not released. It's not released yet. This is coming soon. So it's all just hype and talk at this point. It's registered with a company called Namecheap. So we have, my domain name is run by GoDaddy. Namecheap is just another domain name service provider where you can, register your domain names. However, one of the reasons a lot of shady businesses use Namecheap is because they outsource their domain privacy to a company called Withheld for Privacy out of Iceland, which apparently has very, very strict privacy rules. So that pretty much a lot of it is like hidden. You can't find out who owns what. Now, I got to be honest, if I'm running a company called World Liberty Financial, and I'm former president of the United States, there should be no problem in me being transparent, saying, hey, here's who's running this. By not doing that and not allowing me to know who's behind any of this stuff creates problems. Not only that, but that Withheld for Privacy company out there has a lot of red flags. So I'll bring up some more pieces of info here on it for you, but there is, let's bring up here. So Withheld for Privacy was ordered by the WIPO, that is the World Intellectual Property Organization, to hand over domain name data, accusing them of helping scammers trick sites. And there's a bunch of research that you can look at and find that shows that this Withheld for Privacy company and Namecheap are a haven for scammers. It's one of the top websites to register your stuff and keep private because you don't want people to find out who you are, where you've come from, what you're doing. Right away, that's a red flag. If I'm Trump and I want this to be above board and legitimate, I'm going to do it with a domain name service out of the United States and be transparent about it. Register it through an LLC, register with the company. And by the way, one of the companies is registered out of Puerto Rico that is handling this one as well. And it's all very, very cloudy and murky. Like, you can't see who any of the real participants are other than what's in the white paper of, you've got these two who are creating it, and then all the Trump members. So I'm already starting to be a little suspect about the project. You've told me nothing about what it does, but you've now stamped your name on it, claiming it to be the changer of all things financial and changing the financial world. Great. Kenny Tyler says, red flags everywhere. Certainly. And I was expecting there to be some Trump supporters, not supporters, but some diehard Trump fans in here that were going to slam me no matter what, because I am starting to paint this as a lot of red flags. And if it was the other way, I'd be happy to say that this looks legitimate and it's a great project and it may have some legs. I don't care. I have no dog in this fight. And I would really love to see a project that changes everything. But so far, we don't have that. One of the other pieces here, let me bring this one up. This I thought was very interesting, is how the tokens are distributed. So 30% of the tokens are going to be for public sale. What that, you guys all know that term, float and outstanding shares, right? Float is what's available for you and I to buy. Outstanding shares is everything else. And we've talked about this many times, where you look at something like Apple, and the float and outstanding shares are fairly similar. Whereas if you looked at something like VinFast Automotive, only like 9% of the shares, that's the float, are available to buy and sell. The other 91% are held by somebody else. So what's proposed here with this Liberty Financial is 30% of those tokens are going to be available for public sale, valuing the company at over $1 billion, if I'm not mistaken. And 70%, will be held for Trump and his team. This could not scream more rug pull scam. I mean, right away, when you have one individual or an entity keeping 70% of everything for themselves and using their name to pump it, this screams red flag. Absolute red flags. So far, it's laden with red flags. If I went through a checklist of things that said, hey, this looks kind of shady here, I don't have one thing, not one thing, that makes me go, this could be a real deal piece here. Now, what they've done, just so you guys can see, here's the WLFI. That will be the coin name of World Liberty Financial. And I love right away, beware of scams, fake tokens, and airdrops. Offers are circulating. We aren't live yet. And it's all kinds of prominent stuff and thank you, Mr. President, blah, 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 and going through. Now here's one of their legal team coming on board, which I have a feeling they're going to need quite a big legal team here, and all the different pieces that they're trying to talk about crypto. So look, I'm a crypto fan. I am an enthusiast, and I absolutely do believe that the financial industry is going to be overhauled and upgraded to blockchain. I saw an interview with Sergey Nazarov, who's the owner of, or the creator of Chainlink, one of the biggest oracles in the world. And he said, look, it's just a matter of when, not if. All financial services will be on the blockchain at some point in time. It's faster, it's more transparent, it's easier on everybody, and more efficient. So it will happen, and I just don't know how long that's going to take. Trump is perfectly timing this, I think. I think it's a clever play. He could make billions of dollars off of this. However, it's my hope that maybe on the 16th of September, that there is a lot more clarity, that maybe some of these red flags about the participants, Zachary Folkman and Chase Hero, apparently Chase Hero's got a boat on the back of it. It's called clickbait. Okay, that doesn't necessarily make you a scumbag, but, some of these things seem a little bit, thought you were biased, but you are going through the... I'm trying to, pheasants. I'm trying to. And when I first heard the project, I was like, that's interesting. Because, again, I want the systems to be upgraded. I want our financial service industry to be overhauled. So when you hear about it, it's like, great, let's do it. If they're going to do the same thing they did before, which is simply do a swap site like this, a lending protocol, look, I wouldn't use them. I would use Aave. I would use Compound. I would use Maker. These are sites that already have this whole model established. Have been doing it for a long time. So the biggest thing, at least for now, and I will review this again on the 16th of September after the announcement of what exactly this is going to be, right? And I know what's going to happen. You know Trump, what he's going to do is going to say, it's going to be huge, it's going to be amazing, we're going to change the entire financial services industry and make America the greatest country on the planet. We're going to take back our financial freedoms. We're going to give more power to the people that need it because they've been abused by these banks. Okay, Donald, we get it. We have been. That's true. But I got to see the product. If that car is going to be flying and I'm supposed to buy a flying car, I need to see this thing airborne and flying around. So I'm hoping that you guys don't give into the hype yet. Could there be something amazing around the corner on this one? Yeah, there could be. So far, I don't see the A-tier development people involved with this project. If I'm going to see a project that is so revolutionary as is already being touted, you got to have some of the best developers in the world there and a massive development community going in there. Now, Liberty Financial will have 70% of all those tokens. Now, what could they do with those tokens? Let's step it back and go away from me insulting the project to complimenting the project. There are projects that started. I'll give you an example. Tron. How many of you have heard of a project called Tron? Tron. Not the movie, the amazing movie from the 80s, but the project called Tron. So in the early days, going back in, I want to say 2016, 17, there was a guy named Justin Sun. And what Justin Sun did is he copied Ethereum's source code because Ethereum was open source. He took that source code and he changed everything, apparently to search and replace on the white paper, said call it Tron, and he started his own project. At one point, the value of Tron was billions of dollars. It was one of the top 10. Billions and billions of dollars underneath, man. I did that just like Trump too. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. So he's got these billions of dollars. What did Justin Sun do? He did the right thing. Yeah, maybe his project was kind of scammy up front. But what Justin Sun did is said, you know what? I've got all this capital right now. Now let's go bring in developers. Let's go and acquire other companies to make our project even bigger. And I thought that that was really interesting for Justin Sun to do. Now, some people still don't like Justin Sun. That's neither here nor there. The point I'm making is when you have a windfall of capital that's kind of beyond your wildest dreams and you're promising the world you're going to build a project, you now have all this money. They got 70% of all the tokens for themselves. They could take 30% of that and hire amazing people, right? So it's not like it's done deal here. This isn't, so far it looks like a scam. So far it looks like a rug pull and I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. However, if it does take off with success and the value of those tokens all of a sudden does vault this project to $1 billion, man, I could go out there and offer all these developers, you know, mid 6-figure contracts. Yeah, my project's worth $1 billion. I'll take $500 million of that and I'm going to offer you guys $500,000 a year just to write code for me. I could probably build something very quickly. But we need to see at this September 16th reveal what's the ideas. And I'm gonna do the show again a second time after that reveal, and I'll say, here's what they're promising to do or hoping to build, and we'll look and see, have those things been done already? Or is this a novel idea? Given my depth of understanding of cryptocurrency and digital assets, I'm more inclined to think that it's going to be recreating the wheel of a project that's already out there. They're probably going to create a financial swap site, like I mentioned, Curve or Aave, a lending protocol. But maybe they do something different. I don't know. At this point, you know, I'm happy to see it. I would love to see a major change to the system, but so far, this World Liberty Financial doesn't really feel that trustworthy. Can you do that show with the Trump impression, please? The whole show. You know, Big F, sometimes I feel like I don't want people to get offended that I'm do the Trump impression. I just love the way he does it. I love where he's just like, it's going to be huge. I love his exaggerations of things. I mean, the memes going around right now of all the dogs and cats like running and hiding and taking cars and driving out because of his comments about Ohio and all the Haitians eating dogs and cats. It created the most entertaining stuff on the web right now, I will say. That's been very fun, all the memes of that. Margaret says, getting rid of inflation is more important. Well, one could argue we've gotten rid of it, right? Our PPI numbers today didn't come out as expected, which we'll get to in just a second, but you know, there are a lot of things that are more important. I think if we did upgrade our financial system, we would be able to fix some of these financial problems much, much quicker. Can I do the weave? I don't know what the weave is, Tom. I'm not sure what the weave is. Anyway, I'll do a show probably. I don't know if I'm going to watch it live, so we'll see when it happens, but maybe a couple days after, I'll go through and line up, here's what was said, here's what they're going to do, and then we'll see if it's really possible. And what I'll do for anybody who might be new to crypto is I'll make a list of bullet points of here's what World Liberty Financial is attempting to do and says that they're going to do. And then we'll see if on any of those bullet points, is there a competitor or somebody already in that space? My gut tells me, my just experience in this industry says, they already have all this stuff filled, right? All those roles, all the things they're going to trying to do has already been done. So in my mind, so far at face value, I would say this is a money grab. I would say this is an attempt by Trump to use his name to capitalize on a project. And I believe that DJT is the same thing, right? If we look over at DJT, hold on a second. I don't have my trading view up and running here, so give me just 2 seconds as I bring it up. But, I said a long time ago, I think DJT's kind of a scammy project. They're using his name, which that's fine. DJT down another 3.6% today. It's sitting at $16.08. This will probably go to zero at some point. Anyone want to take that bet? I don't know how long it's going to take, but this going to zero will take a long time after you file for bankruptcy. But anyone want to take a bet is how long this takes to get under $5? All right, this is DJT. This is Truth Social. Again, what was Truth Social, the Truth Media and Technology Group? It was a group of developers who said, hey, we will create a copy of Twitter. It's exactly the same looking. Everything's the same. You just put your name on it and you get to keep, 60, I think, what was his percentage? Does he have 60%, 70%? He's got a big chunk of this. I think it's 56% or something like that of DJT, which is now going to come onto market on the 19th. So I don't see at this point World Liberty Financial being any different. The only big difference here is that World Liberty Financial has the potential to make money disappear because it's a crypto project. There's no regulation. And I got to be honest, if I'm Trump, I think this is a bad move. It's a money grab so far. And if this fails, it could bring down a wrath on top of him. He has a wonderful way of sidestepping problems as they come. He's been doing it as long as I've ever followed him. However, this one could really blow up in his face. If this is a rug pull, if this is a scam, and Trump has stamped his name on it and now becomes president again, this could derail him significantly and put a lot of negative attention on him. Makes me a little bit nervous for him anyway. I think it's a little scary to put your name and your whole family member on the board if this is something that is not with genuine intentions. But we shall see. Trump also said he won't debate again. Ideally, there would be at least one more. Yeah, I agree, Kenny. As I mentioned yesterday, the last debate just felt like people just kind of bickering back and forth. I want to see really what are you going to do? Don't tell me I'm going to cure cancer and world peace. I want to know what steps. How are you going to do it? Let me decide through your business plan as opposed to this high level. I'm going to change everything. I'm going to make the sky pink for the next 60 years. Okay, sure you are. How are you going to do it? All right, on both sides. I need to see both of their agendas. When has he ever been part of a scam? Well, we could make the argument that his Trump University, there's a lot of pretty compelling arguments that was a scam as well. But wasn't Rich a little in, you asked for it? I don't know that one. It'd be funny if Genzer isn't fired and then comes up after Trump. I don't think so. I think Genzer, who knows? Anyway, this soap opera is going to continue on in our markets. I love it. It adds a lot of volatility out there, but I wanted to kind of, did I miss the end of the story about the billionaire dude? No, the end of the story was that Justin Sun took his billions of dollars and actually really tried to build out Tron. So now Tron is becoming more and more legitimate because they took this windfall of capital. They had nothing. They had no development team. They simply copied Ethereum's code and then started running the Tron chain. And then when all the money was there, he's like, I'm going to buy this company. I'm going to buy that company. I'm going to buy this. I'm buying developers. I'm building a team. I'm going to buy an office space. And now all of a sudden, because it was at the perfect time, he had he built a legitimate business. Now, is he still a shady guy? Some people say he is. I don't know him well enough to make that statement, but he definitely has a DGAF attitude about governments in the world. But, anyway, let's go. let's go to our next topic here. One of the things we talked about over the past couple months, and by the way, any comments or questions on that? I kind of wrapped up right there. You know, my summation as of today, the 12th of September, is this looks like a scam. This looks like a money grab. This looks like something that people are going to pour a bunch of money into. That'll get to, oh, and by the way, let me add one more piece. Forgot to tell you this one. If you buy World Liberty Financial tokens, you cannot sell them. Just let me reiterate that. You cannot sell them. It has to be done by governance, meaning there has to be a vote as to when the token holders can sell. And since the owners, in this case the Trumps and the developers, have 70% of the tokens, they'll always be able to cook that vote any way that they want. And they can say, these people can sell their shares, these people cannot. Right? That is really shady when they're blocking you and saying you can't sell these tokens. That's another red flag. It should be consumer discretion. They can lock their tokens if they want, but with this one, your tokens are locked indefinitely. It said it in the white paper, indefinitely, meaning there's no definitive point where you can take your tokens out. That is one reason by itself just to stay away. Merlin, you heard about grayscale is coming? Yep, we'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, Liz, I agree. That's got to be the icing on the cake. Ancient history, business idea that didn't get pan out. What happened to OTA? International scam? Was there an OTA international scam? I don't think so. No. What you had at OTA, and this is same pretty much anywhere, is you had a couple of salespeople that said things they shouldn't have said. There's not an instructor inside the walls of OTA that would have ever said or made those claims that some of these people did. And unfortunately, literally the whole organization kind of came crashing down because of 7 people filing complaints and, let's say, 3 presenters. All right? If you want, you can read through that legal document if you want, but it's really 3 people. And unfortunately, a lot of good employees were let go and a lot of good instructors took off. But my goldish on OTA Center were stale one time. Oh. I don't know, Kenny. It depends on where you went. Look, from the front end, it's a sales organization, right? They're going to try to get you to buy classes. That's just as generally what a business is. It's the fulfillment side where I reside and my good friends reside, and we have no problem with it. We love teaching, love helping people achieve their financial goals. Not everyone's going to succeed, that's for sure. The reality is, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a structure to what you're doing, you're probably going to lose all your money anyway. So all the instructors were pretty straightforward and honest about the realistic side of trading and investing, which I try to do here on a regular basis. Yeah, it really bothers me how those 7 people and Thomasina. The funny part is it was started by someone internally who just had a disagreement with someone. It's really the bottom line is, but we'll just leave that story alone. I'm not looking back. I just want to go forward. There's some changes happening at OTA that really could make it a much, 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 much better place. I'm pretty excited about that. So we'll let you know here in the near future what's going on. Let's see. Let's see what else I got here. All right. Well, I guess we're good for that one. If they gave steps to how they were going to do something, couldn't the opposing party just take notes and steal it? Yeah, technician John or JD, you're right. If they got on a debate and Trump says, here's how I'm going to fix the border wall. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could the other person steal it? Yes. But if they're not going to explain how they're going to do things, then why am I watching the debate? Well, why do you care? Honestly, why do you care? For the soap opera, for the drama, for the bickering, for the yelling back and forth? We know what they're going to say. We know the general stance on the economy, inflation, immigration, abortion, women's rights. We know on fracking. You know their stance, generally. So if that's enough for you to vote, then just vote off those issues. We don't need to watch these debates. I mean, I have a hard time watching. I don't want to watch the debates. I was forced to watch part of the last one, but I could care less about the debates. Unless you're really going to tell me what you're going to do, I got no time for it. So let's talk about the next piece. We're going into a week that is pivotal. Many people feeling we're going to have 50 basis point cuts. I still am in the camp of 25 basis point cuts. One of my former colleagues, Ed Ponzi, says 25 as well, but he's screaming that they got to do 50. They got to do 50. And I'm like, even with your charts, I don't find it that compelling, Ed. I don't think the argument for 50 right now is that catastrophic. So one other piece for our markets is this one. You got mortgage rates falling. It's the lowest level we've seen in quite some time. And I wanted to share that graphic with you because this is a good sign. If you look here, this is from the Federal Reserve, and just going back into 2018, right, tail end of 2018, we can see, hopefully most of you are refinanced back here in 2021. That was the glory days, I refinanced back then. Amazing. We zoom into where we are today, we're looking at the national average. This isn't, one state or the other. This is the national average. We're at 6.2% for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. That's great. I mean, that's really the lowest we've seen since back here in kind of April of 2023. After that, the lowest point was 6.09 back in February of 2023. And then, it almost feels like this is kind of, a demand zone, if you will. And now all of a sudden, our trend is the downside here. We're seeing those longer-term yields fall. Great. That could act as more of a stimulus for these markets. Remember, lower mortgage rates means it's easier for people to buy homes. However, the cost of borrowing money is getting cheaper, which is great for the housing market because that means you could create an influx of demand. But we have demand. What we don't have is inventory. So the challenge anyone's facing right now, and I think, John, you were talking about this one, you've got rates falling, but you're buying at a period where prices are fairly elevated. Right? In a perfect world, we'd wait for this market to crash, have the housing market drop 20 or 30%, rates would come down to help stimulate the economy, and then you could buy your home cheaper at a cheaper price and at a cheaper mortgage rate. So yes, this does look good on paper because, hey, money's cheaper and now I can borrow and maybe buy another home, but you're buying homes that are elevated in price and there's just not that many. And down around here, there's actually been 2 have gone up in the last week, which is kind of interesting to me. We've got 2 in the last week have popped up here in my neighborhood, but yeah, right now it's slim pickings in my neighborhood. Maybe a good time to be selling out there. But I thought this is a good piece because it does, at least for me, speak to the health of the economy, right? A low mortgage yield is a nice stimulus, helps push things up, makes houses a little bit easier to get from a qualification perspective. But if you can't, if you got to borrow $1 million, it's a little bit more requirement for you on the obligation side. Too much regulation in this issue. You're right. You talking about housing, Big Eb? Talking about the housing side of things. Well, at this point, I think the interesting part about the housing market is, all my life it's been predominantly about people, and now there's like more and more businesses are the ones holding properties. So they can just hold them off, and any losses, they can write those losses off. They don't feel that pain. Whereas an individual person like myself or you, when we go through some financial hardships, we may need to sell that real estate to get out from underneath that financial obligation and maybe sell it at a loss. Where if it's owned by a business, a corporation, an entity, they don't really have that problem. I'm just going to write that off as a loss, and that goes against other profits from other areas of our business. So I'm not quite sure if there's a study out there yet on how the impact of, let's just say, commercial real estate companies, not commercial real estate as in apartment buildings or skyscrapers, but just a company whose job is to buy residential properties. And I think that really does change quite a bit. Oliver says, I feel that debate was all finger-pointing, drama-driven. Either side didn't explain how to combat the economy. Kamal is all... Yeah. It was just bickering. And again, I don't care for that. I brought this point up, and I think the older people in this room would understand very well that we could have a conversation 15 years ago in a bar, and you could be hardcore left and I could be hardcore right, or vice versa, and we'd still walk away cheersing each other to drinks, laughing, having a good time, because we know it's the human condition. We're human. We'll just do what we can. Whereas today, it just makes enemies faster than anything to say, oh, I'm voting for so-and-so or voting for so-and-so. I don't know if you saw, obviously, Taylor Swift now endorsing Kamala Harris, which was very interesting, right? She's got millions of fans, and that's a huge win for Kamala. Absolutely. Huge win. The one that I liked the most respected comment was Patrick Mahomes. He was interviewed after the football game on Sunday night, and they asked him, what do you think about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, coming out and supporting Kamala? He's like, that's good for them. Oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't that. His wife is pro-Trump, I believe. Patrick Mahomes' wife is very pro-Trump, if I'm not mistaken. And he's like, look, I'm not going to tell you who I vote for. It's not your business. And, we can all vote for who we want to vote for, who thinks you do good for your country, your family, and you. And I thought that's the best answer. Did Reagan say that? I was young. I was I think I was in 4th grade during the Reagan election. That was a long, long time ago. Long time ago. Oh, totally, Lori. Me too. I have a really good friend who is very stuck to one side. And I think the media has made him very stuck to one side politically. And it's put a strain on our friendship. It really is. Anything I say, he just attacks. I'm like, whoa, relax. It's okay. I can disagree with your opinion. Nothing wrong with disagreeing with somebody. Just keep it amicable. Great. All right. Let's go into my last piece here, and then we can wrap up. So let's talk about that PPI data before we make this a political show, which, again, I don't want to do. But, all of you here, I respect all of you, and you all have been so kind and gracious and not been hostile or been spamming, oh, this one's the best or this person sucks, and that's the way it should be, right? That's the way it should be, absolutely. So PPI numbers came out today, and I thought this was somewhat interesting because of the expectations. The expectations where we're going to pop up just a little bit. We came up higher than we were supposed to. And I'll zoom in here just kind of tight on the most recent stuff. The good news is, overall, it looks like a symmetrical triangle, right? It feels like it's just kind of compressing, getting smaller and smaller. While today we did get an uptick in that PPI data, it's really not bad. I don't think that it didn't breach the high we had back in July. So we've kind of been stuck at 0.2% or less for the past 4 months. That's very good, and we want to continue to see that. So we have kind of conflicting signals here with our CPI and PPI. And ultimately, I think not next week, but the week after, week 24th, 23rd, we should get the core PCE price index. Now, of course, everything is revolving around Wednesday's announcement. I think everyone's kind of just speculating. I expect there to be a ton of volatility on that Wednesday, which will be fun. I will be doing shows for you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, I'm going to Las Vegas again. I need to pay my way through college, so I have an internship at a strip club, so I'll be a male exotic dancer for a couple days, just making some big bucks. I'm kidding. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell you ladies which club I'm at. Bring your $20 bills. I don't take ones. It's just got to be 20s. No, I'm going to go see the Eagles play at the Sphere. I feel like it's three different bands I've seen at the Sphere so far. It's going to be, I'm curious to do the Pepsi challenge between Fish, Dead & Company, and now the Eagles. Just an amazing venue. So yeah, going up there for Thursday, Friday, and then back on Saturday. Just a quick little weekend trip for the opening night of the Eagles. John, don't be flying out to Vegas again. Yeah, Kenny, we are officially off the rails. Well, you know what? You got to have some fun every now and again with the audience. 50 cents. No throwing pennies at me, Margaret. All right, let me run through our top 8 markets here, and we'll wrap up for today's show before I get into a 2-hour one. This is kind of how we ended the day. Although we're in a new rollover session, so the numbers are gonna be slightly different. All my positions right now, I'm pretty happy with. As you guys know, I have a lot of puts on right now. Sold puts, so I'm short puts. Sold quite a few, and all of them are doing really good right now. So I'm pretty happy about that. I got 7 days left. We got up until next Friday, so we'll see how that one goes. But I'll be fine on NVIDIA, XOK, my Rivian. I've got US Steel. I've got IWM. I got the triple Qs. A lot of different stuff out there. And we'll hopefully, USO as well. But anyway, let's start at the bottom. Dollar index. What do we got? Nothing. Right? We are still in this yellow box, so I will just shut up and move on because nothing needs to be said here until we get out of that yellow box. Your 10-year, we talked about it drifting lower and lower. There we go. We have had 2 days of a little bit of a pop uptrend, but not really anything that exciting, right? S&P up 0.74%. This was not, 4 days in a row. So I lost my train of thought there for a second. You've had 4 days in a row of pretty impressive move. And I said a couple days ago that if this does have a nice rally, based off this really loose trading pattern here, it's probably going to head back up to that overhead supply from just a week or so ago, going back to the 30th of August. or this downward trending line. So I'm going to put a yellow box on this one, which would be the most logical target for this bad boy. And that's going to be right there. All right, and that's loose. If we get into that tomorrow, I will break this apart and look at the hourly or the 4-hour time frame to maybe. I'll just do it now. Forget it, we got time. I'll go here and break this in like it's a 4-hour time frame and see if there's anything in there. Actually, yeah, it makes it much more narrow. To me, it brings it into there. So that makes for a much smaller zone, and there's your top right there. So changes that quite a bit if I go into a 4-hour time frame. Makes it much smaller, much lower degree of probability of getting there, but that's where I'll be looking at for the next either couple days or maybe even getting to early next week. NASDAQ, 0.91%. Similar picture, although I've mentioned this. We're kind of just, it's like the triangle. We're making higher lows and lower highs, compression. So at this point, it feels like we're coming into overhead supply level on the NASDAQ. Bitcoin, who cares? 1.24% to the upside. Not really anything to speak of. Russell 2000, the one trade I made today, I did follow my rules on your hammer formation here, and it was working great until a little bit of a pullback. I didn't make as much as I wanted. You can see, I'll go into a 5-minute here and show you. So we had this, it was higher as the market opened than my line, then dropped below it, and my rule is, if it drops below it, it's okay, I can enter in it. So I jumped in here, and this pullback right here in the 750 hour took me out. So unfortunately, I didn't get to capitalize on the huge move. I just had too tight of a trailing stop. A little bit of a bummer on that one, but hey, I'll take a small win over a small loss any day. So, I wish I was still in it, having a bigger move to the upside, but that was your podium. 1.26% move up today in the Russell, looking pretty darn good. And on the daily, we're still not in any real clear direction here. Let's see. Second place, all-time highs. We talked about that breakout on gold. There you have it. The last time we saw gold do this and have a breakout to the upside after a sideways consolidation, it came right back down. So it did like one day, it closed outside, it was another day up, and then came back and retraced a little bit. But the great sign for anybody here who's bullish on gold, we finally broke through all-time highs yet again, $2,580 per ounce of gold. Boom, done. And lastly, crude oil. Love it. Again, I've got the 65 puts on USO and the 64 puts, so I'm fine if it keeps on rallying from here. I kind of would like it to drop lower and exercise me so I could now sell covered calls against them. But hey, I'll take the premium because the premium on USO was fantastic for 1 week, a little week and a half. Love it. But anyway, there you go. You have 68.97 is where crude oil finished today. Does it bounce all the way back up here, these peaks at 75.80? I don't think so. You're kind of at a drop-based drop formation anyway, where most likely it's going to start to stall at this $69 mark, somewhere right about where we're at. So we'll see how it goes. All right, what did I do here? I got you guys all going crazy over my working at the strip club comment. But the boys are invited to the club, right? Yeah, no, Jim, this gets a ladies-only club. I don't know. I don't think I could ever even do that. I would be so embarrassed to get up on stage and, maybe. Depends if there's liquid courage involved, then maybe. Let's see. Skimpy suspenders and a little bow tie chip. Thanks, John. Thanks. Yeah, you probably won't see that one. Yep, I did call that gold breakout. Well, I called it breaking out either way. And to be fair, Margaret, it's not like this is a Sidon call. Like it's if you look at gold, there's no reason to take credit for it. It's just saying I'm not interested until it does. And so now is that interested moment where you get that breakout to the upside. And there's two ways you can trade this one, right? You could have jumped on it as it broke out, or what will most likely happen is you're going to get something that looks like this. You're going to get a little move up. I'll even leave these on here. And then you're going to get the retest of it, right? And the question is, does it come back down to there and give you that second buying opportunity and hold? Because if it is a strong uptrend, what should happen is something like that. Maybe not that steep because it's gold, right? So maybe your chart looks something like that. We'll leave those there to see how right I am. We'll see how correct I am on this bad boy, and I'll just leave that there. But yeah, my guess is you'll probably see a day or two of upside. It'll pull back a little bit and hope it holds and then continue this trend because there's no real reason why this trend shouldn't continue on to the upside. Man, will people be shocked when the Magic Merlin show doesn't evolve? Oh, I opened that can of worms and I just can't put that genie back in the bottle. Done. All right, let's go and show you what's happening for tomorrow, our Friday show, and I am looking forward to Friday, I'll tell you. There's not a lot going on, honestly. You have smaller stuff happening for the U.S., University of Michigan consumer sentiment, you have import prices, you have a slew of stuff happening for Japan, but honestly, I usually remove, China. I usually remove everything China-related just because I don't trust it. However, it can move markets, so I left it on there for this one. And it's about new home prices and retail sales and all that information coming out. The other piece which might be of interest to you, anybody who's trading that euro, you do have these Euro group meetings are continuing on. And again, Lagarde will say something that could cause these markets to go a little bit wild. And if you look at the spot currency markets, like let's take a peek at that euro, you had a pretty big move today. Nice big pop to the upside. That's, of course, going to be the same thing for any of these European currencies. Swiss franc, a lot of volatility when you have Eurofin meetings, so be careful with those ones just in case. All right, that's good. Marcus, did you notice that no women are commenting on the Las Vegas trip? I know, none of them. It's all dudes. I got the wrong crowd in here. It's the wrong group. Not there's anything wrong with that, but I know my pronouns, and I'm comfortable with my pronouns, yes. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope I did an objective job of looking at Trump's new crypto project, which is World Liberty Financial. So far, lots of red flags for me. I don't know if I would trust it. Again, we will revisit this after that announcement, after the podcast, and we get clarity on what they're trying to do. If I had a scam-o-meter between 0 and 100, 0 being it's the safest thing you've ever seen, and 100% means guaranteed scam, I'm putting this up in the 75% category. There's just a lot of different red flags here. Not only red flags, but risks with it, which, Take some trades tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to taking some trades. Let's see, Mark, you have a great evening. I will have a fantastic evening. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to run to the dog park with my buddy before it turns into the 3 o'clock hour. So you guys have a fantastic remainder of your day. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Leave me some feedback on the YouTube channel or Twitter or on TraderMerlin at gmail.com. Either way, let me know something you want to talk about for tomorrow. Thomasina, thank you very much for the comment. I did see your comment, and I actually am going to do a show on your question probably next week. I went and did a bunch of research on it, so thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.